So welcome back everyone to another incredible episode of Chat with Dan here for today. You know, we're having an incredible, super badass Saturday because we have on the show the incredible, the amazing, the badass, the superstar, the legendary, the one and only Rylee. Rylee, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
And fantastic. I mean, what better way to have an incredible, super badass Saturday than to be chatting with someone as badass as you? You know what I mean?
Oh, thank you.
Totally,
I'm happy
totally.
to be here.
There you go. Now, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe. It helps a lot. But also, on the description below, you're going to find all of Rylee's social media. Let's follow her. Let's find out why she's super badass and even a superhero. Let's find out, right? And without further more, let's jump in. So, I want to start this whole conversation by throwing out the first question, which is, when was that moment that hit you? This is going to be my passion now. This is going to be where I start my journey from now on.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. I have always known that I was going to be an actor, a singer, entertainer. Always knew that. Ever since I was a little girl. So I started doing theater, and at the age of, I think I was 12 when I did my first show. It was A Christmas Carol, and ever since then, I just knew. I always knew that that's what I was going to do with my life, and yeah.
Here you are. I love it.
Yeah.
And once you decided this is gonna be, once you got it, like, okay, acting it is, I'm gonna start from now on. What were some of those first challenges that you encountered as you were transitioning into a pro career, let's say?
Yeah, absolutely. So the goal for me, growing up was always theater and Broadway. But once I got to college, I fell in love with the world of film, and I, had to make a decision. I was like, okay, what kind of path do I want to take here professionally? And I decided to go with film. And the challenges that came from that was I immediately moved to Los Angeles. And I love LA, I love California, but I definitely moved prematurely. I didn't know what I was doing. I was lucky enough to get to work at Disney, and that was really fun, but very short-lived because of COVID. But yeah, COVID also brought on a lot of challenges coming into the film world. I stayed out in California for about a year and a half, close to a year and a half, before I decided to move back to Utah. And moving back to Utah, I decided, I was like, okay, I really am going to take this seriously. I need to find out how to actually make this happen. Because in California, I was just like, where's the agent? Like, where are the audition? I didn't know what I was doing at all. Any sort of the business side of things. I wasn't in any classes. And yeah, so I came back to Utah. I luckily at that time there were a lot of classes that I could take virtually in LA. So I was able to take, and I still continue to take class to this day. And I will always be in class. But yeah, got into some classes, really just hit the ground running once I came back out here, and kind of have taken this time in Utah to recoup. And yeah.
Do you remember that feeling of your first audition? Was it like a little bit terrifying, exciting, or just a complete disaster with a lesson that you never forget?
Yeah, I mean, my first ever audition was for theater, and I was 12 at the time. And I do remember, I there's something I can admire about younger Rylee. She just didn't even like, she had the utmost like confidence. And I really admire that. And of course, as you grow up, got to learn how to balance some things there. But yeah, I remember going in and I sang, I think I sang something from The Music Man, actually. I went in with a group of people, and I remember being a really, really good experience. And younger Rylee was just so like, I'm here. My first audition for film, I don't know if I quite remember the exact first one, because I feel like a lot of self-tapes kind of mesh into, most of my auditions for film have been through self-tape. I've had a handful in person. But yeah, I do remember technically, if we're speaking like with my tech and stuff, it was a disaster. I'm pretty sure like my camera was like right here. You're like looking at my nose. My background was a disaster. So technically speaking, it was not the best looking, but Yeah, I have a coach. Her name's Amy Linden. She's incredible, absolutely fantastic. But she teaches kind of staying in your cone when you're in an in-person audition and just staying in that like zone with you and yourself. And so that's a good moment when that younger version of me, I can kind of invite her in and be like, I can see her be like, "You got this. You just go in there and be confident and kick it out of the park or hit
And
it
at
out of the
this,
park."
yeah, and like at the same time, how you handle rejection. Nobody likes being rejected, right? So how you don't let yourself getting involved into the whole rejection thing and feeling kind of miserable, like all of that.
Oh yeah, that's a fantastic question. Rejection is brutal and it is a big part of this industry. And something that has really helped me is knowing that what is meant for me is not going to pass me by. So if this role is meant for me to book it, then I'm going to book it. And it's all going to be fine. If I don't book it, that means that something else is on the horizon or this role is meant for somebody else, and that's perfect. I often remind myself, and others too in the industry that there is room for every single person in this industry. So there are roles for every single person, and some roles are meant for me and others aren't, and that's just fine. Looking at it that way has really helped me in terms of the no's. But yeah, yeah.
During this whole period, right, of between auditions, how you stay creative during these times in order for you to kind of don't lose the like the edge or the practice on.
So I stay in class consistently, and my coach, she pulls scenes that are specifically for each person in class. So not everybody's doing the same scene. So that's something that I really love that she does. So I'm always in class. And then the second thing, creative, more diving a little more into creativity when we're in those slow periods of time. With the strike last year specifically, I ended up booking a role, and then it ended up not happening. And so at that point I was like, you know what? I have had this idea for a short film for a long time. I'm just going to make it happen. I'm just going to write it. I'm going to talk with my friends and see if we can make this happen. And we did. I wrote a film very near and dear to my heart called Where Flowers Won't Grow. And right now it's in the process of being turned into a feature. I'm writing the feature right now. And that film ended up just, I think, changing my entire life, really. We had submitted it to a few film festivals and we won some awards. I won Best Actress at the Utah Film Festival, and it was just a surreal experience. And I'm so happy that, during that downtime, I was able to, connect with other friends, and we were able to still create something that had a lot of impact. And so now, we still have those downtimes in the career in our careers where maybe not a lot of auditions are coming in, or stuff like that. I really have leaned into writing and also working on the scenes in class, of course. But yeah, writing has been really fun new thing for me. I love being able to write from my own experiences. Right now I'm writing a really fun comedy mockumentary series that I've had the idea forever, and I have a really good feeling about it. But yeah, that's what I kind of work on right now. Just writing and working on those scripts. That's kind of a long-winded answer for that, but
Oh, I love it. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So, I mean, you already won an award. Next up, the Oscars. Who knows?
yeah, who knows?
Right? That's pretty cool. That's amazing. And now that you mentioned, right, the fact that you are during this whole transition to create like a feature and everything. Yeah, when you were like writing it, right, the whole thing here. What are some of the things that kind of inspired you in order for you to start create this project?
So, Where Flowers Won't Grow is inspired by my own personal experiences, in an unhealthy relationship, and learning to choose myself and love myself first before I could love anybody else. So that's really what Where Flowers Won't Grow is inspired by. I really love, and I feel like a lot of writers too, as well. We love to write what we know, and we love to write, from our own experiences. So my whole big inspiration was, paying homage to that younger version of me who did decide to leave and did decide to choose herself, because I'm a firm believer that we have to love ourselves fully before we can love anybody else. And that's really what had happened for me in that experience. I didn't fully love myself, and that's why I got stuck. But yeah, I wanted to let other people know that they're not alone in those, those situations. It's really difficult, And yeah.
What do you think is one of the reasons why they just don't love themselves? You know, like a little bit, like going a little bit about this topic. Tell me, like, what do you think is one of the reasons why people just don't love themselves, and sometimes they will encounter these very toxic relations, right? In which
Mm.
somehow they just can't get out of, right, but they still there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great question. I guess from my own perspective for me, I think there was a lot of people pleasing that I was holding on to. I just wanted somebody to love me. I wanted somebody to like me. I needed external validation, and I wasn't even like thinking about like, oh, I can give my own, I can give myself validation. I can show myself love. I was needing that from other people. And I think that's for me personally why I got stuck, you know? And I was afraid of, you know, what people would say or think. I really, really, and I think everybody struggles with this, and I still struggle with this today, but people, it's hard not to care what other people think. It's hard not to be like, well, what's their perception of me or da 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 da. And I really got stuck in that instead of just sitting and being okay, being by myself, being alone, and experiencing, you know, what it feels like to truly and deeply love myself, love and honor myself. And yeah, I feel like once I was able to do that, I didn't feel like I needed a relationship. I wanted a relationship, but I didn't need to be in one.
Yeah, I do think that sometimes having the chance to learn, truly love yourself, to actually know you more, sometimes you need to pass in this kind of toxic relations in order to kind of be thinking about like what is going on here, right? There's has to be something that I need to work on. And what I have discovered also from experience is it's okay for you to be alone. It's okay for you to take that time to create like this relation with yourself, to know exactly what you like, what you don't like, what you are able to give, what you are not able to give at all. Like all of those things that I do think that sometimes, yeah, we just don't think about it. And whenever we met someone, we just jump straight to this relation, and then without like even actually wondering, do I really want it, or is it something to fill a void inside, or you know what I mean? Here, it's tricky for sure. But I do think also that it's very important in order for you to want to be with someone, make sure that at least the relation with yourself it's okay, so then the other person wouldn't have to get along with your problems, or like all of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
definitely, definitely.
going back here a little bit into your badass career, tell me, once you step into a new character, is it more like somehow putting on a mask, or in your case kind of peeling back layers of yourself?
Yeah, I remember reading that question when you sent them over. I think that this is a great question. For me, it's definitely peeling back parts of myself. If we're playing like a really dark character, I feel like there are parts of us that we can find that we're able to relate to them, because I think something I find so fascinating is perspective. How everybody has a different perspective. Every single person does. And someone who is say a villain in a film, or they're perceived as the villain in their head, they are not the villain. In their head, they're the good guy. So if I come across a difficult character who on surface level I think might be difficult for me to play, I try to like dive deep into this character, who they are, and what parts of me can I see, like, oh, they maybe the villain is thinking that they are protecting their family or something, and I could see how I can relate to that. I can see how that's really important to them, or and that's kind of how I will peel back parts of myself for a certain character. But yeah, I think that's a really good question.
What has been at this point the wildest thing you have done to prepare for a role?
In high school, I thought I wanted to be a method actor. I definitely do not. um to each their own. Yeah, in theater I would try to do method acting, and I don't even think I was doing it right. But for film, I would say what I like to do is I like to journal as the character. So I will I'll be thinking through the story of the script before the story happens, maybe after, possibly a little bit, just depending on what, if it's like a series or if it's a film. But yeah, I like to go in and journal as the character each day and talk about their perspective of things that might have happened in that scene. But yeah, that's really, I guess, not too crazy, but I definitely strayed away from doing anything like method or anything like that in high school. I was a silly little girl. I would try to stay in character the entire show. And I think some some kids were just like, okay, we get it, girl, we get it.
How do you at the same time protect like your own emotions? You know, when you're constantly digging into this character, how you're able to, yeah, avoid getting affected by a specific tough scene from the character you're playing, like some pain or trauma. Like, how do you are able to kind of put some distance to it?
Yeah, I think that this is so important when if especially if you are dealing with, some difficult material or some, sensitive material. We had a difficult scene that we shot in Where Flowers Won't Grow, the short that I wrote, and we were lucky enough to have two mental health experts on set with us, one being our director, and it was amazing to have them both with me. So this scene that we shot, my character basically has this freak out in the car. It's very intense. She's hitting things. She's just like absolutely at her lowest low. So we were like, we're gonna shoot it maybe twice, and then we're done. Like we've got it. It's quite intense. And then Riley's gonna take some time. And having those such an amazing crew and director, and also having a mental health professional on set was so vital for that. Because I mean, after shooting that scene, my body was still having reactions. It was still shaking. I still felt like I couldn't really breathe. And so they gave me the space to step away from that. So I think, when you're dealing with some sensitive material as a character, what has helped me has been, having somebody there to talk through things. So whether it's therapy, and I mean, and they can always be on set, right? So if you have a therapist outside of filming, talking to them is great. And then also giving yourself the space to step out of it, whether that's going and meditating or journaling, but allowing yourself the time to step out after you've done your scene, to step away from it and like shut the door and lock it, and it's done, and move from it. Yeah.
Do you have like a specific ritual or something to kind of break character?
I normally will just take a few seconds to kind of breathe and close my eyes, maybe like just a short little meditation with myself. And then yeah, that's normally what I do. And then if I feel like I need a little bit more, if it was quite an intense scene, I will, take the time to maybe journal my feelings about the day, just letting out anything that I need to let out, expressing anything that I need to express, and then, allowing that silence with myself, and kind of maybe, and a lot of times, I'll go get myself a little treat or something if I'm able to do that, have a little treat myself day. But yeah.
The whole acting world can be a huge roller coaster, right? So how do you stay grounded when everything kind of feels chaotic?
I am a huge meditation mindset girl. I love to meditate. I love, journaling, but also allowing myself time to just enjoy life. Being present, practicing presence has been huge, because I find myself a lot of times, if I audition for something and I'm like, oh, I really like, you really want it. I really want it. I will tell myself, it's time to be present. It's time to practice gratitude and to enjoy the now. That has been a huge part for me, like staying grounded, and then also having things outside of acting. So I do social media management. That's kind of my other stream of income, and that's been fun to do. And I also have started, my own YouTube channel, and I post on my socials and everything, and that's been fun for me. And also like making time for friends to go out to dinner, to go do game nights. It doesn't always have to be work, or yeah, like I do think that sometimes as actors we really can get caught up in the hustle culture of things, and it does feel like it can feel super chaotic, and it feels like you're not doing enough, and you got to keep doing more. But I think reminding myself that I am doing enough. I have done the work. It's time to be present, and when I'm present and grounded in that, that's when the most exciting things happen. So
There you go. I'm discovering why you're badass here, just saying. I'm like, okay, I'm getting it. I'm getting the vibes here. Yeah. Cool. What do you think that it's one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about actors?
I think sometimes they think that that an overnight sensation is a real thing. An overnight sensation is not a real thing. It takes years and years and years and years. And I am still, working on this. I'll have, family members or people outside of the film industry, and I know that they mean well. They always mean well, guys. But they'll ask like, "Oh, when am I gonna see you on TV and when is this? And, I think sometimes they kind of expect it to happen a lot faster. And sometimes it does. Like this industry, you never know. And that's one thing that I love about it is that you never know. Like tomorrow, in a year, in 3 years, something huge could come in. You never know. So, but I think the biggest misconception is that people believe that there is an overnight sensation. And behind every overnight sensation, there is years and years and years of work.
At this point, what's like this thing that you haven't done yet in your career that is kind of a burning a hole in your bucket list, let's say?
I would love to work on the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. That one is one that's on my bucket list. I know that that Hulu, I believe, was going to do it and then it got canceled or something. So I'm hoping that it will come back and that I could be a part of that. That's a huge one that's on my bucket list, as well as Marvel. I very specifically, and I'm speaking this out into the universe. And maybe like, I don't know, somebody at Marvel will hear, but I really would love to play Gwen Stacy. And I think that her story would be really cool as a series, like a Disney Plus series. I think like, yeah, I've read a little bit of the comics of Ghost Spider, which is Gwen Stacy. She's a Spider Gwen in a different universe. You may have seen her in like the Spider-Verse with Miles Morales and stuff. But yeah, those two, I mean, there's so many others. I really do love fantasy, and I love really like either fantasy or really deep, like hard hitter movies. Love to do something with A24. But yeah, I'm like thinking through my whole list. But I would say that those are probably the biggest ones that I'm like, ooh, the minute I see A Court of Thorns and Roses or they're bringing Spider-Gwen, count me in. I want to be there.
There you go. Hashtag Marvel, I'm gonna make sure
Yes.
to put a lot of hashtags and tags in regarding Marvel, just as you never know. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. I like it. When people watch your work years from now, right? What's the one thing you hope they feel or remember about you?
I love this question. I hope they feel connected. I hope, they feel like a part of them is that character, or they don't. I think a big part of, my characters, at least the Where Flowers Won't Grow. I keep going back to that one, but is so people don't feel alone. Or also, whether that is they can see themselves in a part of a character, or they are there to be entertained and they feel like, they're there with other people, and they can just enjoy and, get away from the stresses of life, whether it's, that or being seen in the character and feeling less alone. I could probably put that in a better sense, but yeah.
Like, what motivates you? We all have those days that basically we just want to quit. It's inevitable, happens to all of us. So how you stay focused, let's say, on a day that perhaps you're not doing so hot, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of this I've kept tying back to younger me, but I kind of will look to her, and I promised her I'd get us there, and I, plan to do that. And so I will look to the younger version of me who, had that confidence, that drive, and it will remind me to just keep going. And I also remind myself that it's okay to feel like, oh, this isn't working, or to feel really just like down in the dumps. It's okay to feel that for a little bit. And then I think younger me really, really motivates me a lot. And I'm a firm believer. Something I've always told myself is that if if you never give up, if you keep going, there's no way that nothing is going to happen. If you just keep going, keep pushing, keep thriving, it will happen. It's inevitable. So that's what I remind myself. But I also allow myself and give myself the space to feel those emotions. Yeah, like if I didn't book something I was really wanting to book, or if just it's not a great day, or week, month, etc. I allow myself to feel that, but then I will kick myself back into gear a little, so to say.
What do you think the 12-year-old version of yourself would think about you right now?
That is a fantastic question. I do think that she would be like, wow, wait, this is what we're doing? This is happening? there there is a part of me too that I'm like, or maybe like a little bit of her would be like, girl, speed it up. That's where I have to remind her, be patient. But I do think she would be like, wow, this is actually happening. This is real. Because growing up, it was like, that's my dream. It's my dream. It's my dream. And now is a reality. Even though, we're still at the beginnings of my career, it is happening. It's no longer a dream. It is happening. So I think she would be really proud.
Let's say, if you had to describe your whole career, but on a drink, would it be an alcoholic one, perhaps a non-alcoholic? That's okay. And what would it have? But also, what would be the name of it?
Okay, I love this. All right, so this might be a little bit of a exposition here. So if you don't know, in Utah, the dirty soda is a huge thing here. We've got soda shops all over the place. So I think mine would have to be a dirty soda because I am a huge soda drinker, trying to be better at trying to drink more teas and stuff instead of soda. But yeah, it would have to be a soda, be a Diet Coke. And yeah, a Diet Coke with lime and coconut cream. And I think the name of it would be I think I would name it, this is what's coming to my head right now. I think I would name it The Leap.
The Leap.
The leap of faith of just like that's my word for the year this year is to leap and to take that leap of faith. So I think that's what I would name it. But yeah, that is a, if you're ever in Utah, the Diet Coke with coconut cream and lime is like the OG dirty soda, and it is very good. But yes, mine would definitely have to be a dirty soda.
Okay, so it's a dirty soda. Well, we will call it the Leap.
Yep, The Leap.
I'll take it. And my last question. So we can all enjoy and relax after an epic chat here. So what do you think that could be the best title for this episode?
Oh man, I don't know. Maybe you could name it The Leap, The Leap of Faith or something.
You wish, as you wish. It's your episode here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe something about loving yourself. I don't know.
What about, maybe dirty soda and acting?
Hey,
Yeah?
I love that too.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a franchise, sounds like the epilogue,
Yes.
who knows? And at the end, what can I say? The fact that you do what makes you happy, that's super cool. We all know that focusing on something that actually drives you tends to be a little bit of a pain in the butt sometimes, but the fact that you're doing it, you're making it happen, you are showing it out there, you are working on it. That's impressive. That actually takes guts. But also the fact that not only you are creating cool stuff, but you're also showing us between the lines that dreams can come true. I think that is a really cool, powerful message to it. And I'm super sure there's people out there who sees you as a role model, or perhaps as someone who is getting things done, because as I said here, the fact that you are showing out there that everything can be possible no matter what you do, where you are, where you're from, like all of that, it is possible. And if we can rely on people like you who share this positive message to it, I think that's amazing. And especially right now in this crazy time that suddenly everybody's hating each other, we have people like you who can share us something positive. That's cool. And now I discover why you're super badass. So
Thank you so much. That truly means the world. Thank you.
There you go. So I want to thank you so much for making this happen. I also want to thank those who stayed the whole episode. Let us know what you think in the comments below. But by this point, come on, you should already know why Rylee's super badass. Come on. So on the description, you're going to find all of her social media. Let's follow her. Let's share some love. Hashtag Team Rylee. And again, thank you for making this happen. Have an incredible weekend, an incredible everything, because you're doing a fantastic job here. Keep doing what you do. Keep kicking ass. And I'll be definitely seeing you in the next episode.
Thanks, Dan.